I'm a very passionate person, Miss Steele. I go a long way to protect my privacy. I don't often give interviews. Why did you agree to do this one? Because I'm a benefactor of the university, and for all intents and purposes, I couldn't get Miss Kavanagh off my back. She badgered and badgered my PR people, and I admire that kind of tenacity. I know how tenacious Kate can be, that's why I'm sitting here squirming uncomfortably under his penetrating gaze, when I should be studying for my exams. You also invest in farming technologies. Why are you interested in that area? We can't eat money, Miss Steele, and there are too many people on this planet who don't have enough to eat. That sounds very Philip. It is something you feel passionately about, feeding the world's poor. He shrugs. It's shrewd business, he murmurs, though I think it's been disingenuous. It doesn't make sense, feeding the world's poor. I can't see the financial benefit of this, only the virtue of the ideal. I glance at the next question, confused by his attitude. Do you have a philosophy? If so, what is it? I don't have a philosophy as such, maybe a guiding principle. A man who acquires the ability to take full possession of his own mind may take possession of anything else to which he justly entitled. I'm very singular, driven. I like control of myself and those around me. So you want to possess things. You are a control freak. I want to deserve to possess them, but yes, bottom line, I do. You sound like the ultimate consumer. I am, he smiles, but the smile doesn't touch my eyes. Again, this is at odds with someone who wants to feed the world, so I can't help thinking that we're talking about something else, but I'm mystified as to what it is. I swallowed hard. The temperatures in the room are rising, or maybe it's just me. I just want this interview to be over. Surely Kate has enough material now. I glance at the next question. You were adopted. How much do you think that shaped the way you are? Oh, this is personal. I stare at him, hoping he's not offended. His brow furrows. I have no way of knowing. My interest. How old were you when you were adopted? That's a matter of public record, Miss Steele. His tone is stern. Crap. Yes, of course it is. If I'd known I was doing this interview, I would have done some research. Flustered, I move on quickly. You've had to sacrifice family life for your work. That's not a question. Sorry, I squirm. He's made me feel like an errant child. I try again. Have you had to sacrifice family life for your work? I have a family. I have a brother and a sister and 2 loving parents. I'm not interested in extending my family beyond that. Are you gay? Mr. Gray. He inhales sharply and I cringe, mortified. Crap. Why didn't I employ some kind of filter before I read this straight out? How can I tell him? I'm just reading the questions. Damn Kate and her curiosity. No, Anastasia, I'm not. He raises his eyebrows, a cool gleam in his eye. He does not look pleased. I apologised. It's written here. It's the first time he said my name. My heartbeat has accelerated and my cheeks are eating up again. Nervously, I tuck my loosened hair behind my ear. He cocks his head to one side. These aren't your own questions. The blood drains from my head. No, Kate, Miss Kavanagh has compiled the questions. Are you colleagues on the student paper? Oh no, I have nothing to do with the student paper. It's a extracurricular activity, not mine. My face is aflame. No, she's my roommate. He rubs his chin in quiet deliberation, his grey eyes appraising me. Did you volunteer to do this interview? He asks, his voice deadly quiet. Hang on, who's supposed to be the interviewer here? His eyes burn into me, and I'm compelled to answer with the truth. I was drafted. She's not well. My voice is weak and apologetic. That explains a great deal. There's a knock at the door and plan number 2 enters. Mr. Gray, forgive me for interrupting, but your next meeting is in 2 minutes. We're not finished here, Andrea. Please cancel my next 2 meetings. Andrea hesitates, gaping at him. She appears lost. He turns his head slowly to face her and raises her eyebrows. She flushes bright pink. Oh, good. It's not just me. Very well, Mr. Gray, she mutters, then exits. He frowns and turns his attention back to me. Where were we, Miss Steele? Oh, we're back to me. Please don't let me keep you from anything. I want to know about you. I think that's only fair. His eyes are alight with curiosity. Double crap. Where's he going with this? He places his elbows on the arms of the chair and staples his fingers in front of his mouth. His mouth is very distracting. I swallow. There's not much to know. What are your plans after you graduate? I shrug, frown by his interest. Move to Seattle with Kate. Find a job. I haven't really thought beyond that final. I haven't made any plans, Mr. Gray. I just need to get through my final exams, which I should be studying for right now, rather than sitting in your palatial, swanky, sterile office, feeling uncomfortable under your penetrating gaze. We run an excellent internship program here, he says quietly. I raise my eyebrows in surprise. He's offering me a job? Oh, I'll bear that in mind, I murmur. Dumbfounded though. I'm not sure I'd fit in here. Oh no, I'm using that out loud again. Why would you say that? He tilts his head to one side, intrigued, a hint of a smile playing on his lips. It's obvious, isn't it? I'm uncoordinated, scruffy, and I'm not blonde. Not to me. His gaze is intense, all humour gone, and strange muscles deep in my belly clench suddenly. I tear my eyes away from his scrutiny and stare blindly down at my knotted fingers. What's going on? I have to go now. I lean forward to retrieve the recorder. Would you like me to show you around? He asks. I'm sure you're far too busy, Mr. Gray, and I do have a long drive. You're driving back to Vancouver? He sounds surprised, anxious even. He glances out of the window. It began to rain. Well, you'd better drive carefully. His tone is stern, authoritative. Why should he care? Did you get everything you need? He adds. Yes, sir, I reply, packing my recorder into my backpack, as my eyes narrow spectacularly. Thank you for the interview, Mr. Gray. The pleasure's been all mine, he says, polite as ever. As I rise, he stands and holds out his hand. Until we meet again, Miss Steele. And it sounds like a challenge or a threat. I'm not sure which. I frown. When will we ever meet again? I shake his hand once more, astounded that odd current between us is still there. It must be my nerves. Mr. Gray, I nod at him, moving with an athletic grace to the door. He opens it wide. Just ensuring you make it through the door, Miss Steele. He gives me a smile. Obviously, he's referring to my earlier, less than elegant entry into his office. I blush. That's very considerate, Mr. Gray. I snap, and his smile widens. I'm glad you find me entertaining. I glow inwardly, walking into the foyer. I'm surprised when he follows me out. Andrea and Olivia both look up equally surprised. Did you have a coat? Gray asks. A jacket. Olivia leaps up and retrieves my jacket, which Gray takes from her before she can hand it to me. He holds it up, and feeling ridiculously self-conscious, I shrug it on. Gray places his hands for a moment on my shoulders. I gasp at the contract. If he notices my reaction, he gives nothing away. His long index finger presses the button, summoning the elevator, and we stand waiting, awkwardly, on my part. Coolly self-possessed on his. The doors open and I hurry in, desperate to escape. I really need to get out of here. When I turn to look at him, he's gazing at me and leaning against the doorway besides the elevator, with one hand on the wall. He really is very, very good looking. It's unnerving. Anastasia, he says as a farewell. Christian, I reply, and mercifully the doors close.